Hello, my lovelies. Today's the 5th of August, 2024, and we have the energy of a new moon in Leo and the beloved Mercury Retrograde. So we thought we'd do a little reading for you and see how these energies are going to affect us over the next 3 weeks or so. Now, Mercury, the planet, is associated with the god of the crossroads. He's the messenger of the gods. He's also the god of commerce. So when this energy goes backwards or retrograde, it's a going over of things. And you may also find that things visit you from the past. And this can include debts. I've had that happen to me. It can be old loves. It can be old associations, old relationships, old scenarios showing up again for us to have maybe one last look at, and that's it, completed, finished. Or you can pick up where you left off. But because the energy of this planet is about communication, how we communicate with each other, so by word, by mouth, by text, by phone, emails, things can become misconstrued or misunderstood. So over this next 3-week period, be very aware of what you're writing. Read it at least 3 times before you send it off to anybody. And also when you receive anything in writing, so text messages, emails, etc., you might get the wrong end of the stick. So read it over a good 3 times before you think of replying. Now, Mercury is also associated with travelling short distances, and you may find that there's an awful lot more roadworks and traffic jams. So give yourself at least half an hour, if not more time to get to where you want to go to. It can also be associated with delays. So if you're planning a journey, be very aware that short and even long delays may occur. And again, check any travel arrangements at least 3 times to make sure you've got the right day, you've got the right time, you've got the right form of transport to get you to where you want to go to. It might also be a good idea to get insurance, travel insurance, if you're going a little bit further than normal. I remember many times when I worked in an office many years ago, and I used to laugh because I knew the photocopier would go wrong, and the other people in the office would laugh at me and say, "Oh, what's a load of old rubbish?" And sure enough, we had to call the photocopy guy out because it always went wrong during a Mercury retrograde period. So it also affects machinery. So your phones, your cars, anything that is electrical, can be affected by this energy. It's not a good idea to buy anything electrical large during this period, because you may find it's faulty and you have to return it. That's happened to me. And also trying to get the return thingy from the people I bought it from. Yesterday it took me nearly half a day to try and get this thing downloaded, and I still haven't managed to do it. So just be aware that if there are any large purchases that you would like to have, leave it until after the 28th of August when Mercury will turn direct. Also be very aware of signing on the dotted line. So if there are contracts to sign or agreements to sign, if you can delay it, leave it till after the 28th. If you have been in negotiation for a while, that's a bit different because the energy is already moving. So, but again, read the small print. If you can delay the signing of anything, if it's a house or a car or anything that you're going to live with long term, oh, what I'm hearing is if anybody's deciding to get married and they want a prenup, read that very carefully, or if you're the one who wants to put it in place, be very careful about the wording that you have written for this loving commitment with somebody else. So there's just one or two things that you might like to consider during this Mercury retrograde period. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, and also it happens 3 times a year for a period of about 3 weeks each time. So it means that an awful lot of people are born during a Mercury retrograde period. I'm one of them. And so I'm used to it, and I can usually feel the energy before it arrives. And so I can chuckle at the things that I know that are probably going to go wrong, so then I can avoid them. So just for you to be aware, you can check in your birth chart. So if you find the symbol for Mercury in your birth chart, and if there's a little R to the right of it and just below it, that means you were born during a Mercury retrograde period. You may also find that an awful lot of things are going to be returning from the past in a very different guise. They will be looking very, very different. So because Mercury is to do with communication, it can be programs, television programs, movies, that sort of thing, and the people who are participating in those activities. So there might be an awful lot in the news that is you thought was dead and gone, over and done with, but will resurface, but it will look very different. So again, that's just one or two little things you might like to consider during this Mercury retrograde period. The planet doesn't actually go backwards, none of them do. It's just an illusion. So from our point of view from Earth, it is as though if you imagine you're sitting in a train and there's another train next to you and you're both at the station. So the one next to you starts to move, and then your train starts to move, but because yours is gathering speed, the one next to you appears to be going backwards. It's not really, you're both moving in the same direction, but it just appears that way. So appearances may be deceptive around us. So again, just bearing these things in mind, and it should be a lovely smooth sailing for you. So Miss Lyra was here a moment ago, but she's gone off to have some chicken in the kitchen, so I thought I'd bring the toys in. So we've got the Teds and the pussies and the duckies. So here we are, we have the cards. They have been shuffled. We'll cut them into 3 and we'll see how the collective is going to be affected by this new moon in Leo energy. I did a video yesterday on that, so if you want to take a peek at that one. But let's look at how darling Mercury is going to show up in our lives. 4, 5, 6, 7. We may also find that communication from other worlds may show up. It may be that it's a false flag. But there might be a lot of reports, a lot of people seeing things in the skies. And lots of reports about what it is they are seeing. We're going to need a part 2, my lovely, so we'll see you in a minute.